Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate. Day 59 of Living Ceremony, and it's a snow day. And let me tell you, this sauna was made for snow days. So walking out here barefoot in the snow and then jumping into the warm sauna just feels like, oh, yep, this is how it's supposed to be. So feels really good. Been out here for, I don't know, 2 rounds of 25 minutes, I guess. I'm on my 2nd round of highly collagenated coffee with protein, and just did a couple rounds of chants. I have an app called Align 27, which is a Vedic astrology app, and it has rituals for every day, and they're often chanting Vedic chants. So I decided to do a couple of those today. And yeah, I'm just noticing some different emotions coming up today. A lot of it is like recognizing the relationship I have with myself. So when uncomfortable things come up, I am able to lean more deeply into myself and my faith. Because I know I'm acting from integrity. I know that I'm navigating life from a place of truth and vulnerability. And so there is more spaciousness for expansion in uncomfortable feelings. There's not a need to change them or run away. It's a noticing, which is an opportunity for gaining information. So, I have been pretty good in the past at narrating for other people, and that's really just a protector part because I don't know what anyone else is actually thinking. And if I'm creating a story, especially one that's not supportive of me, then there's not really any sense in doing that. And the more that I become safe with me, the less I need to protect myself from these made-up stories. And the reason I create the made-up stories is to protect me. So it's the Don Miguel Ruiz, don't take anything personally. It's 4 agreements. It's not always about me. So how do I operate from a place of confidence and making the next best choice in my life? And not feeling like I need to backtrack because of a made-up story. Protector part trying to tell me what someone else may be thinking or feeling. So in that place is the spaciousness of not knowing, not having an answer, and not needing to know, and that being okay. Because what I do know is that I am operating to the best of my ability from my highest self, with honesty and integrity. And everything else is a distraction. I think I hear kids out playing in the snow. There is a joy of being an Indiana girl and having a snow day. I don't miss the snow, but I enjoy the snow for this very brief moment. And it's so different being in Austin. There was like no weather yesterday. It was just getting cold and just stores were shutting down. Which it did have a sleeting, icing storm, and we do have a layer of snow on the ground now, but Austin's not prepared for this. So everything just kind of shuts down, which feels great in a way, to just be like, hey, halt. What is this foreign substance? Everyone buckle down. Cocoon. So that feels like an invitation to deeper nourishment with myself today. And, maybe some of what's coming up too is grief and sadness, but I don't have to operate only in the tunnel of grief and sadness. When I'm not holding on to anything, I have much more expansive availability to the complexity of the human experience. So in this moment, I am able to experience sadness and grief, death, at the same time as rebirth, new beginning, excitement, faith, anticipation, there's a wide range of emotions, and I also don't have to claim any one to stay in. It's just a noticing to the availability of the full spectrum of the human experience at any given moment. Like in this moment, my toes are cold and my head is hot. So the body has its own layers of experience too. It's just like trying to go to sleep and your mind is racing. It's like the body is still, but the mind is not. So just noticing that wide range of experiences. And especially when we don't grasp at them, or even necessarily try to make sense out of them, or create a story around them, but just listening and being available to what's coming up. So one of the things that's coming up for me is that I'm approaching the original ending of Living Ceremony, or the devotion day. This was originally a 63-day devotion. And fairly quickly I realized that this was so much more than that I did not intend to one day say I am no longer living in ceremony. That does not feel nice. But there may be a day that I'm not going to share every piece of my life with the YouTube world. I don't know when that day is yet. The original 63-day date was based on the invitation to do a Dharma Day practice up until Summit. This is for the Fit for Service Mentally Fit. And so that when I started it, it was 63 days until Summit, which has now been moved back by about a month. So So let's say it's around 90 days. I haven't done the math. But I think there's something incredibly valuable that's continuing to emerge through this sharing and witnessing myself at the same time. Because I do trust that there is value in this beyond just my private diary, so to speak. And it's not even about how many people this reaches or doesn't reach, because who knows? Who knows how long this video may stay out and who may someday see it. And that really doesn't matter either. It's also like what is taking place within me. And as someone who has experienced a lot of mental health challenges and hurdles and panic attacks, this is a deep drop in, lean in, surrender, super give experiment. I am making myself incredibly available and vulnerable to I don't even know what. And I think that's what it's all about. It's the flower of the heart. How do I continue to allow the flower of my heart to bloom outwardly? And in the last year, there's been a lot of messages around speaking from the heart and speaking life into being, creating life through speaking it. There's a lot of teachers and gurus out there that speak to this, that we create our reality. What we think, we become. What we do, we become. That's who we are. It's like the don't tell me who you are, show me who you are. So doing the videos has held me accountable. I've really embraced this morning ritual of the sauna and sharing. And it's created a rapport with myself and an availability to the greater world. That it's not just about my individual healing process and journey, but it's about speaking about health and wellness and pain and grief and joy and happiness. Expansion and depletion and so many other things. It's a window into a human experience. And through that, it is the continued practice of slowing down and listening and noticing. It's a constant reminder and invitation to ceremony. And what is a ceremony? It's a container for presence. It's a workspace. It's a place for ritual and sacred practices. It's a place for both blooming and dying. understanding of a thread that will continue. It's a living circle. I'm noticing in the coming days as I approach the 63-day original date that there are more things that I would like to speak on that are more vulnerable and personal, and some things in particular feel like part of my message to share in this lifetime. My work to do and my word to spread because of the awareness and the gift of that awareness in my life and the magnitude of heightened awareness in certain areas of my life. As a human, as a spiritual being, as an energy that has continuance before and after this current iteration. So I am navigating the tenderness and vulnerability around these deeper, more potent shares that I am moving towards speaking. And the funny thing is, the noticing of the impact of the potential of sharing this and the idea that it could be very impactful, and also the idea of saying something that feels very impactful and very personal and maybe risky even, and there being no response. And how would that feel? And the reality that that's not the point. I'm not here to do this as a performance for views or likes. It's me speaking to and through a former version of myself, a younger me that needed a friend, that needed a way forward, and a future me that is pulling me in the direction of my truest, highest self, of the way that I will serve the world. So today I'm sitting with the uncomfortable bits in me that cannot speak for anyone else, or speak anyone else's truth, or pretend to know anyone else's truth. And the bits of me that are moving with and through faith and truth. And knowing that the gift of being here now is the gift of my previous experiences in life. And the wisdom attained through that journey. And some of those stories are dark and painful and embarrassing, but only if I look at it from that lens and not from the lens of the whole. So I am learning to really embrace the powerful wisdom of experience and the gift that that is and will be in the work that I do in serving the world. So that is my morning thoughts from the snowy sauna session. And I'm going to sit with that. Okay, it has been a day of checking boxes, of getting small tasks handled. And it's also resulted in our moving day moving up, which I don't know if I shared that yet or not. So we're gonna start moving this weekend, so that we can get a couch and a bed delivered. Which is good and exciting, but just trying to organize all of the things. Yeah, so work tasks, personal tasks. It snowed, so Austin freaked out and everything shut down. So we have a table that we found at a vintage shop yesterday that we're gonna pick up, but I think the shop is closed, so we'll have to do that another day. But I'm getting a lot of little open loop type things handled, so that feels really good. Moving forward, checking boxes, and now I can sense a momentum of excitement in the air about this new chapter. There's been so many chaotic things happening and unforeseen things and letting go, but now there's some momentum of creating new, so that feels exciting. So I'm gonna let that be the motivation.